Hit the record button. There we go. So I want to talk for just a minute, and then we'll read this poem for a new beginning, one we've read before and that I always love and that I always find solace and some refuge in. Because even after many years of practice, one of the things I notice, and I notice that it still appears, it is still an affliction for me, is that I can, in moments, become somewhat overwhelmed or discouraged because of, as I am in review, particularly at the end of something and the beginning of something else, right? In those bardos, in those transitions, how I can find those critical shards. The one that goes, wow, you know, you're still doing this. You still aren't that. In reflection, I remember, of course, also moments where I was not kind, where I was not considerate, where I was not regarding. This is a part of the necessary reality of a path, right? We have to see both the ways that are wholesome, the ways that are a benefit, the ways that contribute, as well as the ways that don't. They're both essential to finding this middle path. And I caught myself yesterday going, wow, you know, you're still looking over the year in review as I'm planning and intentioning for this new year. Like, wow, some pretty solid bloopers in there. And I caught the grip. I caught the grip. It wasn't just a recognition, which is always beneficial, I might say. I have to say it is. To go, wow, that didn't get either what I wanted and it didn't invite the benefit that I had hoped. And sometimes I have been lost enough, as we all have, right, that I wasn't even inviting the intention to be of contribution. I was just wanting what I wanted. I was just after whatever I was seeking. I was just gripping, clinging, grasping for some ego reward in some way. And the consequence of that I caught is that gripping heart. And so I thought, we do this every year, by the way. This isn't a brand new thing at all for us. We do it at the beginning of retreats. We do it is to really cultivate some qualities of samadhi. There are types of samadhi. I'll talk about them for just a moment. But just to know that without a calm, stable, steady, friendly, and open mind, there can really be no path and no practice. We just get lost in the sea of affliction, of grasping or clinging, of wanting and not wanting, and become really pulled so continuously, just like in that moment, pulled by the worldly winds of the thinking mind. And so I thought today we would go back to the board, right? We go back to the basics. This is the beginning. Next week, we're going to be talking about a whole life path, which is what we're going to be starting. Next Tuesday will be the orientation for this. I hope you have gotten the book. It is a whole life path. So I know some people have looked up the whole life path. But I have to say that it would not be consistent with these teachings or this tradition to say the, right? The. Probably not. It is an invitation. It is a possibility. It uses the capabilities that the Buddha understood we all possess by virtue of being human. And it is possible. It is real. It is achievable. And so a whole life passes. This is a way for sure. And we'll be looking at that a little more, and then starting that book review the following Tuesday, which will be the 21st of January. And I don't know how long we'll be at that. I'm thinking it'll end up being at least the 3 months.
8 weeks.
That never works, right? I'm not even going to try for that.
No.
That'll be ridiculous. I've tried it though, as we all know. Like, let's do this big book in 4 weeks. Never worked. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I want you to know that that's the trajectory. And today we're going to be practicing very specifically. And then this week, the invitation will be, could you continue for some number of breaths each day? And the number that we are looking at, again, is at least 60. How you get them really then up to you. In the cultivation, however, of calm abiding, of shamatha, of samadhi, which is right concentration, it is actually one of the noble paths. It is often placed at the end, which I think is somewhat hysterical because, interestingly, I have found that it's necessary at the beginning. But from that right concentration, I know that all the other qualities of those 8 paths, right intention, right thought, right view, right effort, right speech, all of those will become much more achievable, workable, doable, seeable. So here we go. We're going to read this first, and then we're going to sit with at least 60 breaths of stillness and see how it goes. This is for a new beginning, of course, by John O'Donohue. And I thought a perfect poem for the beginning of this new year. In out of the way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight when your courage kindled and out you stepped onto new ground. Your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's greatest desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm. For your soul senses the world that awaits you. Go back there. Awaken your spirit to adventure, the unknown, the groundless, the ungraspable. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in this risk, this present moment, risking everything. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm for your soul, or the mind senses the world that it is. By John O'Donohue. If you would like a copy of that, I have that on the document. Just let me know. And so then we prepare with that possibility, remembering, right? This is always part of the beauty, remembering who we really are, remembering that capacity. We prepare to sit, find a way for you to sit with some kind of wakefulness, alert, attention. And for a moment, just let the body come into stillness. Don't do anything else, nothing else required, really. And then for a moment, just begin to incline the mind. These are the base instructions. Feel the sense of the body as a whole, sitting here. This is the beautiful beginning, this beautiful immersion. It's slow and steady. Breathing into the whole body. And then we gather the body in its parts together. This is actually one of the early teachings in the Satipatthana. It has 32 parts. We're going to just cover 6 or 8, suturing into wholeness, this fragmented sense. So we feel right down into the feet. And then the legs. And then the feet. And let the breath move downward into this base of the body. Offering stability, groundedness. And we can feel into the uprightness of the spine, the balance of the head. We can come into alignment with the upper body. If you can't invite a little bit of fluidness in that spine, we don't want to tighten that up. It's a habit that we all cultivate in sitting practice. If we can't shake it loose. And then coming into the front of the body, coming into the face. And there we can simply release, relax, and soften the face. Into the throat, the chest. Diaphragm and belly. Just seeing where in that breath state now. And if you can find a place to rest easily. And then we invite the bodhicitta, we invite the good heart, the one that practices for oneself and for all beings, without exception, omitting none, that we might all be happy and, and awake. And so we start and continue. And with that energy, that genuine desire that got you here to practice today, the one with those good wishes, we fuel and feed the practice with those very aspirations. May I be free from suffering. May we all be free from. Feel where the energy is alive to that intention in the heart. We can remind and remember. When the mind becomes distracted, when we get weary, seeing if you can find that place of ease, of calm, of breath, somewhere within that breath state. Or you can hold the whole of the breath state. That's an invited instruction, the whole body breath. See where the mind easily rests. And let's just rest there for at least 2 minutes. You're just feeling into the experience of the breath as it moves and changes. You don't need to be counting. Watching for the habit of mind to specialize, customize, or fabricate something in the breath. Just moving naturally. No matter what the habit of mind might be here, and there can be a little bit of a scramble, especially if there's demand in place rather than the wish for ease or release. The ego will resist. So just be watchful of where the mind goes and always with gentleness and a smile. You just come back. back to the breath. Back to ease. With each out breath, see if you can dissolve a little bit more of the habit of tension, distraction. Breathe. And with just these 20 breaths, you have changed the mind, which of course changes the brain for the better. But now that we have begun, let's continue. There are many other phenomena in the body, and sounds, and thoughts, and emotions may arise. Our commitment in this shaman is to that easeful, calm abide. Warm abide. Riding the waves of it. We want to be watchful here, not to push away or solidify other phenomena. There's a train whistle blowing here, and the goal here is not to not hear it. The goal is to stay with the primary attention, is their attention being here in this body. And so if you could experience a kind of breathing with, letting that breath be as primary as it can be. Just one breath. If you notice a restlessness, an irritation, boredom, think you can't just make the space for the breath a little bit larger, a little bit more refined, a little keener. Don't abandon the breath. Work with it. If the breath sensation seem a bit too subtle, it usually means that the mind state is in restlessness of some sort, or maybe even a fogginess. You can invite a little support by breathing in, knowing that you're breathing in. You can even gently note in. Not want to do that for very long. That's extra energy. But it might just re-invite. Breathing in a present, alert. Breathing out on peaceful. noticing this ability of mind. Now that we can make contact with the object of the breath a bit more easily, there's a little more steadiness, a growing calm. Hopefully the body is beginning to soften, be a bit more peaceful. We then just practice sustaining attention. We're just going to rest in that breath experience. Seeing what additional qualities arise. We can use that word steadiness to give you other beneficial and beautiful qualities of mind. And so, we are not trying to cultivate these qualities, they are the natural result of this concentrated mind. And so we're just staying with the base practice. It may be of some additional support to cultivate a sharper attention. And so rather than this bigger breath as a whole, you may want to begin to notice with, again, a finer attention, the beginning, the middle, and the end. Not only does the attention become finer on its own, so watch for the demand. It will undo your shamatha. Now, this isn't a demand, these are just possibilities. You can actually begin to feel joy and delight at the experiencing of the breath and the stability of it. And you just let that come and come. You may notice habits of mind, the tendency to grip the breath and place demand on the mind to hold tightly, too tightly to the breath, or a kind of spaciousness that can happen, a little bit of sloth and torpor. And you'll know that because the body will begin to flop a little bit. And in so doing, will not be completely comfortable. And so those are just possibilities for noticing those conditions. And they're just being offered as opportunities for that right inward measure. We can just sit up a little more if we're flopping. We can ease up if we're pressing in on the breath. But really right about this time, there should be a little bit of feedback. Both from the mind and there's a place here where we surrender ourselves, we give ourselves completely to the breath. We're no longer the thinker, the breather. We're simply in the experience of breathing. The I, the me, the mind, and the arising experience. empty of self. As the mind becomes more concentrated, and it may or may not be, it's not a problem at all. You're just resting in the experience of the breath, feeling that stability, and that steadfastness. That grows over time into samadhi, more concentrated mind. And then you notice that nothing is sticky. Sounds are happening, or sensations. And really what is most pervading now is this sense of stable, concentrated, open, spacious mind. You begin to see that the mind itself is not me. It is just a moment coming and going. And with the continuing stability of mind, eventually there is what we call undirected samadhi. There's nowhere you have to place the mind at all. It's just the still and silent abiding of concentrated in the nature of that thing, including qualities of mind. So we can rest in that spacious awareness, that concentrated mind itself, grasping, clinging, pushing away. And then we gather the ease, the peace, and qualities of mind, the sense of spaciousness, of freedom, non-reactivity, non-distraction. We gather up this mind and we shower it on itself. And breathe it in. opening the whole of the body, mind, right, to this ease, this calm, this steadiness, this freedom, this wisdom. Feel through and as we infuse and immerse ourselves in this samadhi, this sublime quality of mind, we can then we can carry it with us into the day, where we distribute it freely, loving, kindly. And so we benefit not only to ourselves, but to others. And we can also call those others to mind now, those for whom we send these well wishes for happiness, for freedom, for ease and blessing. Call them to mind and send this quality of wisdom. And we can say, and we have peace, beautiful, divine, love. You might call in one or many. Know that there is room and space, and this quality of mind is bound, so it does not run out. and then done is what needs to be done. And the benefits of this practice to grow and continue. And just taking a moment, taking your time. I'm checking chat here, and Dennis, it may be my voice that made it a little difficult. I apologize for that. I heard Greg saying this too, and it's fuzzy. I don't know. That could have been me. It could have been the technologies. Hopefully, you were able to hear enough to stay with both the placement of the mind, the abiding quality of that attention on the breath and body, and the cultivation then of those qualities of concentrated mind or samadhi. And I did name the three. I will do so again. I hope you can hear me well enough. I will send the recording out as well for practice this week. Hard to hear. Everybody said that. I don't know what that is. That could be any number of things. I don't think I'm talking more quietly, but I might have been, because concentrated mind is not particularly loud. Yeah, so it could have been me, Greg, who knows? So these qualities of samadhi, we begin with shamatha. We begin with just placing the mind on an object. We typically use the breath because the breath is somewhat easy to find. We all have one so far. So it's pretty available in that way. We carry it with us. That's pretty good news. And highly portable and non-denominational, as Sharon Salzberg says, which I love. And so from that just placement, we just abide, place again, return again, come back again. And then what you may or may not have noticed, and it just comes in its time. So it isn't anything that necessarily you're doing wrong. There's just qualities of mind that we bring sometimes when we're in a stormy quality of mind. Just finding the breath, finding the way to the body is the big work. And that's beautiful practice. So I hope no matter what else happened or didn't happen for you today, what you didn't do was go into judgments like I've got this or I don't got this or it's good or it's not good. Be watchful about those habits. That's not very useful. So please be attentive and caring, kind to yourself in that way. This is the training. And so we are where we are. And opening with kindness, gentleness to that is essential. But then over a period of time, did anybody notice? Yeah, be curious, not judgmental. Right. Really just how is this? What is this breath? What is this breath inviting? How is this breath informing? Right? This is the really essential key to that early part of the practice, and where you will notice the mind moving into sounds and thoughts and busyness of a day and what happened yesterday and anticipating your day today. And these aren't problems in any way. They're just reflective of a certain quality of mind, actually, where the thoughts are pretty big as they're crossing over that field of awareness, and are remembering that we are really in that always present, always available, always abiding mind is hard until we get a little level of concentration. Then like, oh, here I am, here it is. It's like a homecoming, really. Like, oh my goodness, I've been swimming in that stream of continuous thoughts and thinking and becoming and wanting and not wanting. And now I'm, remembering in this restful place, this place of calm abiding, that this mind is the one that sees clearly. This mind is the mind of non-grasping, non-reactivity, non-judgment, non-distraction. Oh, right. Oh, right. And then from that resting, we cultivate really beautiful capacities, and they're actually called beautiful in the suttas, which is and sublime. I use those words on purpose because they are as written in the Pali Canon, and it says that will just grow and continue. Grow and continue. And for those of you who have a well-established daily practice, you would possibly have been able to notice the nature of that mind in its concentrated state, now undirected. I don't have to place it anywhere, doesn't matter. I'm just resting in this stillness, silence, spacious, abiding. It's its nature, it is the quality of samadhi, and it is always enough, and it will always see clearly because it is not moving with the objects that are coming and going. It is very, very stable, still, and present. And then from that, it is not the end of our practice. That's not the end. That's not the end of the good news. The truth is that from that state, we can then act in the world and with ourselves with what? Wisdom, with clear seeing, because we see the true nature of all things coming and going. So we give up these habits for trying to cling or grasp or keep or make something. We go, okay, no point to that. It's all going to come and go and change. Anyway, I don't have to get so overactive in this gripping, clinging, and rejecting. And so we rest back a little bit more, one. And then the second quality of samadhi is its signlessness, is the word that's used. Signless means seeing that, let me think about it. Seeing clearly that everything is changing. I would say, let's say it that way, the signlessness, seeing clearly that everything is changing. Emptiness is the first quality of samadhi, noticing that there is no self, no me, there's just this abiding. It's not even claimed. That's the emptiness factor. Then there's this beautiful factor of that I'm just naming of signlessness, and that is everything else is changing, but the quality of the concentrated mind is not changing. It is abiding. That's right. Dennis says, the stiller I am, the more I know. Always true. That is an essential truth, Dennis. Yes, absolutely. The stiller you are, the more you see, and the more you see, the more you know. That is exactly correct. And you see the true nature of things in their coming and going, and no longer then attached to solidifying, gripping, identifying, staking claim. We give that up beautifully to just abiding, right in that beautiful samadhi mind that actually in its own qualities is fairly pleasant, fairly pleasant. There's a kind of pleasantness in that early samadhi for us. Timeless, without time present. That's exactly right, Greg. It is timeless, colorless, shapeless, boundless. All of those qualities are the signlessness. And then the final, undirected, no beginning and no end. Undirected, didn't come from something, isn't conditioned, it's unconditioned, and it does not end. And even when you're caught in a particular quality of mind, caught in the habit nature of mind, it is not because that quality of mind is not available. It is just that you've gotten caught. You were not stable enough in the moment. But we can always what? We wake up again. We begin again. We see again. We, oh, here I am in the grip. And in that very moment, right back in that quality of mind that sees clearly, loves unconditionally, and is completely unconditioned, available always. We're going to be practicing that all week. We will be practicing that again this Saturday in the garden. I'm going to make an offering of the garden again. The weather, I think, is supposed to be pretty workable. I've had a few people saying, couldn't we please meet again? Yes, we're going to do it again. I was committing to at least every other week, but the weather's holding up okay. So I think we will try to meet actually down in the garden this Saturday, because we will be practicing once again this quality of shamatha leading to samadhi. So let's get together for that in this beautiful new year. We're starting next week with that concentrated quality of mind. We will be able to begin to investigate and to cultivate these noble eightfold paths with the guide of Gregory Kramer, and in the book A Whole Life Path. If you don't have the book, I really highly recommend it. I will just give a little summary on Tuesday, and see who is interested in riding this course with us. Again, I'm going to guess we're going to end up going at least 12 or more weeks. I don't see any reason for us not to continue it into April. As we get into April, my life gets busy beautifully with the wedding, which I'm very excited about. So we'll just see what there is room and space for. But for sure, we will be able to get into April with this for at least 12 weeks. So I'm just checking in, seeing if people were able to stay with the practice. Of course, here there was a lot less instruction There's only the pointing and then the experiencing, which is the nature of shamatha practice. I tried to walk you through some of the jhana states a little bit. Yes, my son is getting married April 22nd on Earth Day. Yay! So excited. I love that love continues and is blooming. It's a beautiful thing, even in these difficult times. So any questions, any comments, please write in chat if you have them, or come online and say hello. Any of that works. We're already at 8:15. I know that some of you are getting prepared to go about the day. So I do have another moment, and if not, I will be sending this out to you for practice this week. Remember, our commitment is at least 60 breath practice. That's a beautiful shamatha or calm abiding practice. But it can also be confusing because people forget, don't we? Like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? What's the point of the breath? Yes, Craig, I was just going to remind everyone, thank you. We will be doing this again on Thursday. I would be dropping in on that because, again, I think we need some essential instruction for this. I think it's harder than we sometimes think, and of course also easier because it's just placing the mind and placing the mind. But I think the little bit of instruction being offered is pretty essential. Remember, for this Noble Eightfold Path, if we do not have stable mind, there will be no path. There will be no practice. It says this is essential and the beginning. And we cannot begin to see clearly where is right view, what is right intention, what is right action and effort, what is right livelihood, what is right speech. We will get all caught up in a way that, so these next weeks, we will be starting and staying with, in addition to the books and its teachings, we will be staying with these essential shamatha and samadhi practices. Okay, everyone, I think it's looking like we're all pretty good. I'll send this out today. I want to take another look and make sure that I know all who's here so that I can make sure that you get that. Yeah, with all the mind stories, we miss the essentials. Yes, we do. It's why we go back to the basics at the beginning of each year. I do it every year on purpose. I do it for me and for you. I do it for us all. We've got to ground in these basic teachings and the basic practice, or the fact is we're going to get thrown around the room and into suffering. This is the path to the end of suffering, to the end of all lamentation and sorrow. And yes, let's stick around and do the practice so that we can get to that. It is what I know we all truly want for ourselves and this world. So thank you. The way we begin it is by being it ourselves, and then making those offers as we did in this very practice, in all the ways we do to ourselves and others. Yes, Dennis, much light and brightness to us all. It is going to be a beautiful new year. How do I know? Because it is conditionless. It does not matter the conditions of the world, but rather the condition of your own heart mind. And so this will be a very good day, and consequently a very good year. Let's sit for just a moment together. I'll ring the bell again. And then we get to live this for the however long we have. Finding our way back to the body. See if you don't notice with some greater ease how you can simply rest the mind there. And how the mind, with greater ease, less effort, can find the way to the breath. And we're just breathing here, stabilizing the mind once again, and then directing the mind towards those well wishes. May we gather and concentrate the mind, and then make the offering. May we dedicate all of the merits of this practice, all of the stability, all of the ease. May we offer it wherever needed. We're going to call out our friend Chewang's mother today, Samden. She is 78 years old and is not well in Nepal. Calling to mind those who are ill, who are hungry, those who are cold or lonely, those who are fearful, those who are caught in the grip of the contracted hard mind. May they all be free. May we all be happy, truly happy. May we all be free from internal and external affliction. May we be free from suffering. May we all take delight, be glad, and rejoice at our blessings and those blessings that we offer and wish for others. Thank you to all of you who have contributed recently. And then we rest in that stable and concentrated quality of heart mind, open, boundless, vast, bright, radiant, and easeful. May we be filled with loving kindness. And may we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. And may this practice this morning contribute and continue. So be it. Love and blessings to all of you. Happy New Year. Thank you once again for those beautiful contributions to the tents and the sleeping bags. They have been delivered. I'll be posting some pictures in the newsletter of that completely full Suburban. In fact, it was so full that Doug will be bringing more of the clothing and the blankets and other things that were gifted. Thank you all so much again. He'll be bringing them down this next weekend also, because we had so much stuff. Thank you. That was quite a response and beautiful. I really appreciate all of you. All right, everyone. Thank you. I will be sending both the poem and this recording. In case it was low, my guess is you will be able to hear it better in the recording, and you might need headphones. But I would practice with this because we're going to be sticking around with this. And remember, there's Greg on Thursday. Drop in there at 7. From 7 to 7:30, he's going to be doing this very practice, this shamatha practice, the one we all need as our stable base. Be well, everyone. Mwah. Good to see you all. And I'll see you this Saturday, hopefully in the garden. Be well.
Bye.
Have a great day, everybody. Good day.
Thank you, Tanya.